Good morning.
Good morning. You're ready? I'm not ready. How are you?
I'm a little tired today. I don't know why.
I am tired too, but
I don't know why.
I have
That's
a migraine.
CherylAnn Chapman there next to me.
And this is the Iris for CA.
Yeah, we're Coffee and a Podcast.
That's right.
And CherylAnn.
Last time I knew.
CherylAnn, I love this shirt.
Oh,
I love it so much.
Yeah.
It's a sweater. She looks like a superstar.
There we go. I was supposed to wear it for 4th of July. It's now September. Go for it. It's now almost the end of September.
Yeah.
So no haters on me wearing something that's 4th of July.
No.
Tank top.
Stars are universal.
It's cold. We're in the Pacific Northwest.
Hey, let's have a toast.
And yes, and look at
my ADHD just kicked in.
She turned around your mug. I got her.
Happiness is a cup of coffee. And I have to tell you, it's bright yellow and it's well needed this morning.
Oh, so
and
well
I'm
needed.
even drinking her coffee. Wait. She wanted me to show you.
Because we're Coffee and a Podcast.
Gold espresso, right?
Yes. We'll just do that. There we go. So this is, if we can see it, it got a little bit of a shine there on the ring.
With foamy cream.
Yeah, so we have a little frother that we use.
We love frother.
We love frothers. Frothers. That was like I was trying to say brewery.
Some words.
That I'm like, I kept getting my mouth was like, blah, blah, blah.
I was trying to say your name last night. I was like,
what'd you call me?
CherylAnn something. And it was all in S's and C's. And he's like, CherylAnn went to seashore sells seashells.
I went to the shore.
So yeah,
that is too cute.
I think I was talking about the whole thing with Heather or something. Like
oh
that.
yeah.
It was your friend, but it was so funny.
But that's too funny.
Wow, I couldn't even say your name in that sentence because of all the S's.
It's funny. You say that. I know some people that they can't, because of their language, they can't say Cheryl, so they call me Ann.
Oh.
Hey, Ann. And I got to remember that, too. I go, Ann. Oh, that's me. One of my aliases. And then
one of my aliases.
Oscar couldn't, he was having a really hard time saying Cheryl, because of his, and then, so he'd call me Sherry. And the reason why Sherry is a great name, but it reminds me of this, my daughter was babysitting for these people in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And her name was Sherry, and she was not nice, and she shafted my daughter. And so I was associating when he was calling Sherry with that name, and I can't, because Sherry is actually a really pretty name. So I let him call me Sherry, but
for a while.
Well, no, you can still call me Sherry, but I like nobody else, because like people go, oh, can I call you Sherry? You go, no, you can call me Ann or CA.
I like CA.
Cheryl.
CA is
but
cool.
Oscar doesn't like CA.
Weird.
He goes, because that's not your name. He goes,
well,
why?
Neither is Sherry.
He goes, I know, but he's like, why diminish your name? You are CherylAnn or Cheryl.
You're not.
And he goes,
Sherry
CA is
either.
just I know.
It's just
it's
a
the logic.
Well, people used to call me Little I. Iris.
Little
Iris. Yeah, my pet name. I mean,
why little? Because you're shorter?
I was smaller. Not smaller, but kind of petite compared to my friends in LA.
Oh, gotcha.
And they just said, "Oh, Little I." That's me.
Little I.
And it just stuck all these years.
It kind of sounds like you're going back to King
nickname.
Little I, like little Sir, whatever, I don't know. The Renaissance era is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's the head. I'm going to really try really good, people, but for those of you that have had migraines, you can understand. So.
I definitely can.
Yeah. So happiness is going to be my cup of coffee.
Yes. I love this. Thank you.
Yeah. It was just a fun little, it gives me inspiration for when we create our little coffee mugs for our, we just have to figure out our logo and all that. So I decided to do 2 people.
Yeah.
And
we're in it. Okay, we're getting in it.
Yeah, we're just gonna go right in it. Now my people that I have, they're not a deep dive on the people.
Okay.
And some will say, why?
I asked why this morning.
Why? Well, you're probably like, why? Spit it out. So
no, she had a great explanation.
My people, they don't know what the people are.
It's important to ask questions.
It's very important.
Because how do you know if you don't know?
That's right. Yeah. So my people are, they're artists.
People today.
My people today. I did a twofer because when I looked up the one person, then I saw this other person, and the stories are, I mean, I'm so glad I have this because they are very inspirational, but they're very sad too. They actually are, the word quadriplegic, where they both of them, the one, Henry Salas, he's 31 now, but he, from the neck down, he has no feeling, nothing at all. And I'll explain what happened to him after I talk about Johnny.
Joni or Johnny?
No, it's Johnny. That's what I say. So when I first saw this name, it's spelled Joni. And I'm like, oh,
right.
Johnny. Nope, it's
Well,
Johnny.
her last name too, I thought was
Ta-da!
Ta-da! But it wasn't that.
Because it's Eareckson and it's Tada. Ta-da! So you think
she messaged me and said, this is what I'm doing. And I was like, oh, she meant ta-da, she's finishing it?
Ta-da.
But no, it's the name. It's her last name. It was so funny. I was like, oh, wow.
And ta-da. She also, from her shoulders down, she does not have any use of her body from her shoulders down.
Wow.
So these people are super inspirational. I didn't do a deep dive for a couple reasons because I'm covering two people.
Okay.
But also, I couldn't find the details that I wanted on the people.
Okay.
So with Johnny, do you know how Johnny got her name? Mm-mm. She's named after her father. I'm going to get my glasses because that's going to be helpful for this podcast.
I couldn't read that without glasses.
So,
that's really small print. Too.
So her official name is Joni Eareckson, and they spell it Eareckson.
That is such different spelling.
I've never seen it called that way. And then Tada, so Tada.
That's her married name.
Is her married name.
Yeah.
So she was born October 15th of 1949, so she's 74. She was born in Baltimore, Maryland. I can't speak, sorry.
Never be sorry.
That's true. This person is amazing because they're an artist, they're an author, they're a singer, they're a radio personality.
Wow.
They're a disability rights advocate. Plus, they've had a movie made about them.
Oh, really? Do we know the movie?
Yeah, it's in here.
Okay.
So I did do some highlighting, but then I printed off a lot more pages than I really needed because a lot of it's just the credits and
your source notes and
my
stuff.
source. Yeah, this is Wikipedia is my source for her.
Okay.
So imagine this. So I'm going to take you back. I'm actually listening one of her books, and I wonder if I have it right here. It's the one about swimming.
She swims?
So picture this. You're 17, and it was in the year of July 30th of
my birthday.
Very cool. I'm glad this didn't happen to you on your birthday, though.
Too.
So on July 30th, 1967, she was only 17. So she's getting ready. She comes from a family of sisters, and I'll get to that later. But so she's getting all excited because they're gonna go down into the Chesapeake Bay, and they're gonna do some swimming. They're having this big summer party, and they're gonna go have a really good time. And she bought a brand new beautiful blue swimsuit. So she's so excited. God. She got her hair all right, and so she's checking, like every teenager, checking yourself out before you go down because. She broke up with one guy. Now she has a new guy, but she still wants the old guy to say, see, look what you're missing, kind of thing, which is cute.
Nice. Very cute.
So they're like, come on, we gotta go. Everybody's gonna be down there. So she gets on down there, and then, she's walking along that area, and then she goes over to a place where she has dove off of like 100 times. Yeah. So I like the way that Joni writes because she's very all the little details that she'll pull in, and then she's like you've done it like 100 times before. It's second nature. You just dive in, right? Yeah. Everything looked fine, so she dives in, and so it's showing how. It's telling how she likes that rush to that feeling when her toes just come underneath the water, and how she's feeling like a little missile when she's diving down and all of that. Yeah. But then all of a sudden, she's feeling different. She's like, what am I doing at the bottom of the sand? And why do I have this this weird feeling in the side of my head.
Oh my
She's
God.
like, because she's like, what am I doing down here?
Yeah.
And then she's like, why can't I move? What? And then she's like, and she's trying to move herself, and she's like, well, I'm not dead, am I? What the heck? She's trying to understand where she just dove off.
And she's underwater.
She's
too.
underwater.
So
She's starting to panic.
Yeah.
She doesn't understand because she's done this 100 times before. This is what these kids do. They always do this.
Oh my God.
And she's like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
And then she sees in the murky water, because she's describing how the water is, and you're just like, you're captivated at this point.
Yeah. Like,
And
who
then
saves her?
two legs come up, and she can hear her sister Kathy, but she obviously can't speak. She's underwater, and so she's trying to figure out what the heck. And then she can hear her sister going, hey, so you're looking for shellfish down there? What are you doing? Because at this point, she's just kind of floating in the shallow water. And so she's thinking maybe she's looking at something.
right.
What are you doing? And then she's realizing that she's not moving.
Oh.
And then she goes to grab her, and then they're getting her out. And she's like, I can't move. She could talk.
Wow.
She's like, Kathy, why can't I move? What's going on? And then they're just all starting to freak out. But her sister is on it. She's like, she's like a great director. You go do this.
Right.
And this is her older sister. You go do that. And then these other guys come over with a raft, and they get her out of the water. And then she's like, oh, I'm sure you'll be fine. Her sister's like very positive. They're very Christian faith. So they're like, oh, I'm sure you're going to be fine. Let's just get you out of the water. Looks like you bumped your head.
Was there blood, I wonder?
And I don't recall her saying that so far in the thing, but there must have been something.
Was there a spinal injury?
Yeah, the fourth and fifth vertebrae. And then there was, what else was it? There was another spot that made her go instantly paralyzed.
Was it from the neck or the back? 'Cause
It's from the shoulders down.
So the low back is lumbar 4 or 5 down here,
Yeah,
and then the upper cervical is
her
up
cervical
here.
4
So it's
and 5.
So cervical.
And then cervical vertebrae.
Okay.
So her fourth and fifth cervical vertebrae
Yeah. It's up
were
here.
crushed.
Yeah.
And then so she was paralyzed from her shoulders down.
How did it get crushed
So-
from her just jumping in the water?
because the way she hit.
Yeah.
So if you're,
Trying to
she was in shallow water, so she was
Yeah.
off this rock. She
Right.
goes down, but she must have not realized that the water wasn't at the level that it should be.
Oh.
Because you're excited, you're showing off, you're having fun. It's a hot day,
Right.
and she wasn't paying attention, and it was too shallow for her to be diving.
Yeah.
And she hit the bottom,
Yeah.
and then that's when she must have come up like this.
Right.
And then
Oh,
hit.
God.
Yeah. So then she's like, they're trying to feel like, you know, this. Can you feel this? No. Can you feel this? No. Can you feel this?
Wow.
Oh, yeah, I can feel that. And then her sister's like, oh, okay. You probably are just numb. You're, we'll be
Right.
okay. We'll get you to the hospital, the whole bit.
Thank God her sister stayed positive.
Oh my God, her sister was super, super positive. So they get her off to the ambulance. She's freaking out because her new boyfriend Dick, well, he's supposed to meet her there. She doesn't want him to think, oh my gosh, I've abandoned, kicked you to the curb and that whole bit. She gets in there, and then as they walk through all of this, this is where it got me upset because,
sorry.
but let's go back to this. So we were talking this morning before we go any further.
Yeah.
Why, I've had several episodes where I've talked about people that have no legs, no arms, or maybe no arms, or they've had a form of disability. And what is it? Why do I gravitate to these people? I find them just so inspirational because they have listening to her book, her audiobook. I couldn't get her, she has a bio. She has 48 books that she's written.
Wow.
We'll get to that in a minute. Because it's such, maybe it's not where, a person wants to be, and that's what Henry says, but he's grateful, and I'll explain all that too. It's inspiring in a different way. I know people are like, how can you be inspired by people that have tragedy? it's not that doom and gloom. I'm just so blown away by people's mental status to be able to take something so challenging. And she wanted to kill herself.
Sure.
And so did Henry.
Sure.
So tragic. And then overcome that, flip that. And then she becomes so successful on a whole nother level that it gives me chills, that she even dreamed of doing. So I find such inspiration and like, oh my gosh, it makes me like, if these people can have such strong adversity and can change their mind and move through this, I can, it's just, we were talking about all the differences between that.
Right.
And so I gravitate that, like, because it's so inspirational, and I'm so sorry. I mean, we have strong empathy.
Yes.
So it is really hard to do people like this, because you do cry and you do get very sensitive because you walk through their pain. I don't know people that are empathetic, but so I can't watch, I have friends that joke with me, I can't watch fighting scenes when people are like hitting each other, because I feel that. Now you're probably thinking, Oscar does this all the time. It's a movie, but it could be real.
Yeah.
And my body doesn't know the difference of that. It just feels like that's really happening, and I can't watch it, for one, because it's negative, and then for two, it's pain, and my body feels that pain. Right. Anyway, so going through, listening to her audio, which I'm not through her audio, it's wow, because the way she talks about what happened in the emergency room, it's just beyond how they've hooked her up and what they're going through. And she's like, why isn't anybody talking to me? It really puts you to be like, what if you were that person that your brain was all good, your body can't respond, but no one knows that? Like, technology has come amazing nowadays, that they can see that there's brain activity, but the body's not there. So both of these people are blessed that they could speak. But at first, she had to use, like, they both, not her, but he had to use his eyes to communicate, because his speech came later. Right. But with her, she could at least, she could move her head around, and she had her shoulders. And she could speak. So she's like, why aren't these people talking to me? Well, maybe, and then taken through her mind, well, maybe it's too bad. Maybe it's so tragic that they can't talk to me. Where are my parents? Who's that person? What are those sounds? Because when you lose function of something, then you pick up on your other senses. Sure. So she's hearing all these machines and all these things, and she's like, what's going on? Asking all the nurses that come in and go
Trying to process.
Yeah, and then she has to go through surgery. That was just trippy, and actually physically feeling like you're there, watching her get underneath the drugs and all of that. And then she has to be hooked up to the apparatuses to keep the neck straight. Yeah. She has to be flipped upside down, and then she's upside down, and she's trying to talk to people. Like, all she's seeing, like when her head's this way, all she could see is her feet, trying to figure out who's in there. Where are my friends who, visiting me? Yeah. And then she knows that she asks the lady, one of the nurses, like, hey, what's that sound? And she goes, oh, that's one of your not inmates, it's not the right word, but one of your
roommates,
roommate, I guess, roommate,
wow.
Hospital mate, somebody else in the hospital room. And he had a diving accident just like her, but he was on a ventilator. Oh. And this is really sad, because they get to chat. Like, she has them write a note to him and reads it to him, because he can respond that way. Right. But then all of a sudden,
he dies.
The sound goes off, and she's like, the respirator goes off, and then she's like, oh, that's not good, because I know that he's hooked up to the respirator.
Oh, that is.
I know. I started like,
oh my God.
And then so then he passes away. So then so she's a really good writer, people. And what she was relying on through this whole thing is her Christian faith, because then she's like, well, God, because she kept saying in the water, well, God, you won't forsake me. You've got me. You've got this.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? I know. So
otherwise, it's just going to be a crying
episode. So
Ooh,
it just, the book is really, 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 yeah, the book is really, really good. So she obviously goes through this. She loses the love of her life. She ends up, let me find her husband's name because now I've got myself all like, oh. I know, because they've co-wrote books together. First, before I go to that, so she is the youngest of 4 daughters to John and Lindy Eareckson, and she was named after her father, John. And John, and so it's not Joni. You look at it, it's Joni, but it's Johnny.
Yeah.
So that's her way of spelling it, or they spelled it.
Right.
So her father had participated, this was really cool, in the 1932 Summer Olympics as an alternative for the United States wrestling team.
Nice.
And was honored as a distinguished member of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame and Museum in 1986. Okay. So her family is very active. She has a horse. She loves her horse, I'm trying to remember the horse's name. She loves to be hiking. She loves being out with her like riding her horse and tennis and swimming. So they were a very, very active family. So for this to happen to her was like tragic. Yeah. So after misjudging, it says the shallowness of the water, she'd fractured between the 4th and 5th cervical vertebrae, and became a quadriplegic, or what do they call that? You're better at these words than I am. A tetraplegic.
You said
tetraplegic.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So meaning that it's from the shoulders down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's some pictures where she can move her shoulder to where her arm goes out, but she really doesn't have any control. So they usually just leave the arms in her lap. So during the 2 years of rehabilitation, according to her autobiography, Joni, I always want to say Joni. I got that out of, this is a picture of her. So this is her showing how she was drawing. So we'll get to that, how she becomes an artist. She experienced anger, depression, suicidal thoughts, and religious doubts. Yeah. However, during the occupational therapy, she learned to paint with a brush between her teeth and began selling her artwork. She also writes this way. Although most writing text, she relies on the voice recognition software, which is amazing if you think about it. Now, anybody that's in this situation, they've got more control, like Steve Hawking's and things like that. So they've got more things that they can do. That's another brilliant one. That man was just super amazing. So then, to date, she is, it says written over 40 books, because she's actually written 48 books. Wow. Recorded several musical albums, and I was listening to one, and it was very, very pretty. And I've got something to comment on that too. And starred in an autobiographical movie of her life, and is an advocate for people with disabilities. Okay. So she wrote her experiences in her 1976 international best-selling autobiography, Joni, the unforgettable story of a young woman's struggle against quadriplegia and depression, which has been distributed in many different languages. The book was made into a 1980 film, which makes me want to go find it now.
You can probably Google it and find it.
I probably can. Film of the same name, starring herself. Her second book, A Step Further, was released in 1978. So what's so amazing about this person is that she pushes past all of the anger, the depression, suicidal thoughts, why me, blah, blah, blah. She relies heavily on her faith, and she becomes the artist, and she becomes the author and the singer. She does have a good voice. And she founds Joni and Friends in 1979. It's an organization to accelerate Christian ministry in the disability community throughout the world. And then in 2007, Joni and Friends International Disability Center, it's in California, was established. And then it just talks about it was led by Tada, the founder and CEO, and John Nugent, president and CEO. The Joni and Friends International Disability Center runs a multifaceted nonprofit covering a number of programs and outlets. So The longest running program that she has, she's also talks about being a radio personality, is she has Joni and Friends Radio, a 5-minute weekly program. It began in 1982. So this girl's way ahead of us.
Wow.
Way ahead of
She
us
was
on
podcasting.
Yeah, that's the early podcasting.
That's right.
It's the longest running program. It now runs 4 minutes in length and can be heard weekday over 1,000 broadcast outlets. So Tada also recorded a 1-minute radio feature, Diamonds in the Dust, that airs daily. So both programs have received awards. And then she was a Radio Program of the Year award, which is so awesome, from the National Religious Broadcasters in 2002. And then the Diamonds in the Dust won the same award in 2011 on a short program.
What's that called?
Diamonds in the Dust.
Diamonds in the Dust. What a great name.
So then they also do other things. So like as if doing these programs for disability, getting on there, doing her broadcasting, she's starting to do her art. She also, they include a family retreat. So this is a place, again, with people with disabilities can come with their families because it's important. So when you get, I would think if a person was in that state, you'd be like, then you start going, oh, well, I can't do this, I can't do that.
Right,
and then your brain just goes all crazy.
Right.
So she created this for this family so that they can experience something grander.
With their family.
With
so
their
they
family.
can be inclusive.
Yeah. And then then she also it's called the Wheels of the World, which collects manual wheelchairs and other mobility devices to be refurbished by volunteers in prison, restoration shops, then shipped overseas. So she's doing that. She's doing this. I have to look at it because she has so much weaved into their story on her.
Okay.
Joni and Friends also has produced 51 episodes of Joni and Friends, which is cute TV, which she was way ahead of Friends.
Wow,
and overseeing the formation of the Christian Institute of Disability. It's a training and advocacy arm of Joni and Friends, among other ventures. So this is all happening in the Agora?
I can't see it on my glasses.
Hills, and this is in California.
Yeah, Agora Hills.
Agora. So this gal has like so much. President Bush, she got to meet him, and there's actually a picture of her right there with him.
Let's see.
She's right there.
Aww.
And he's right there.
Yeah.
So he calls on the Senate to support a ban on human cloning during the address of the April 10th, 2002. So it says pictured in the center right. They were doing a thing on disability. So in 2005, Tada, was appointed to the Disability Advisory Committee of the United States Department. So she's been making a name for herself. I know I haven't gotten into her art yet because that's downright amazing too. And then she served on the National Council of Disability under Presidents Reagan and Bush in 1988. And then the first draft of the Americans with Disability Act, authored by this council. So you can see so she has this tragedy, but again, look at how it's her outlook. So that's what just impresses me, that she flipped the script in her brain, struggled and
hard to do.
Found a way to push through all the negative, and then she's doing all this stuff.
That is astounding.
And then it goes into her music, where she has done all these things. She received media attention in 2014 for her performance, the song title from the Christian movie, Alone, Not Alone. Alone Yet Not Alone.
Multi-talented.
So do you want to know something that was really amazing for this part of it? So it said with limited lung capacity due to her disability, her husband Ken, there's his name, was pushing on her diaphragm while she's recording this for her to get to her high notes. he's pushing on her diaphragm to get her to get to the high notes.
Wow.
Yeah. And because she didn't have enough capacity to be able to do that.
Sure.
So
wow, that's heavy.
And very, very heavy. She's received a nomination for the Oscars. She, like I said, has written 48 books.
Right. She's amazing.
She married Ken, and her husband, in 1982.
Okay.
And he was a high school history teacher and coach, and now he's retired. He is sensei. Is that right? Is a sensei, meaning that he is sensei. He's a third generation to be born in the United States after his family relocated from Japan.
He's not a sensei. He's a sensei.
Sensei.
Well, different than sensei. Sensei is a martial arts teacher, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Sensei.
That's why sensei. Sorry,
Sensei.
I was trying to make sure
It's a different word. Sensei versus sensei.
Gotcha. That's true because it does say sensei. I clean my glasses up.
That's okay.
And then she actually went through breast cancer.
Oh my God.
I mean, yeah. And then she...
That's horrible.
I tell you, with stage 3 breast cancer, she had a mastectomy, chemotherapy. Then she was declared cancer-free in 2015, but then an original site came back in 2019, but now she's cancer-free again.
Oh my
So,
God.
yeah.
I mean, having...
So yeah, she had, and then, but then there's more to that, because then you've got so she falls in love with this guy, they get married, and they show Ken, Ken. They show pictures of her in her wedding dress, and he's feeding her the cake, and because she can't do anything.
Right.
And then he wanted to quit so many times through the marriage. He was like, I can't do this. Because he's basically her caregiver.
Exactly.
And he's like, this is killing me. This is draining me. I can't go on. And there again, that's where faith comes in. Mm-hmm. And it gives me chills. And, they pray about it because they always talked about everything. Mm-hmm. And then he started changing his view. And it was just like, things were released in him, and he overcame that. But he had to go through that 3 or 4 times through their marriage, and it talks about how he's like, I'm done. I can't do this.
Even in regular relationships or marriage, people go through that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so imagine it compounded, though, for him.
Exactly.
But we all go through that. I mean, not that, thank God, but, I think that's a normal thing for him to experience.
Exactly. Because here you've got this person going through all of this.
Right.
But he was so proud of her because she was so resilient.
I'm glad he didn't give up.
I'm glad he didn't give up either. And they've got books together too, which is cool. So then there's this whole list of awards, and she receives America's Academy of Achievement from the Golden Plate Award for inspiring victory over quadriplegia is what they call it. Yeah. Then it goes on to the first woman honored by the National Association of Evangelicals. I mean, look at people. It's like all of these. And then, but wait, there's more. Then she's got all of these awards.
Yeah.
And then it goes into...
pretty impressive.
Yeah. She holds the following honorary degrees. So this person's not been sitting down. Mm-hmm. They've been using this and propelling themselves. Mm-hmm. She's a Bachelor of Letters from the Western Maryland College, Humanities from Gordon College. Mm-hmm. She's got a Doctorate of Humane Letters from the Columbia International University, and it goes on and on. She's got all of those. Mm-hmm. Then it goes into all of her. These are all of her books. Wow. I mean, look at this, people.
48.
There's all of that.
48. There's
all of this. It goes on. That's what I'm saying. I didn't need to print these all out, but it just shows you. And then her film stuff there. Go ahead. I got a piece of one of her arts.
That's what
I meant to print out the other one. So here's this one.
Wow, let me see that.
Isn't that amazing? So she too does the.
Oh my gosh.
And that's what I wanted to print that out. I actually had a picture showing her actually painting that. So
really good.
Look at all the intricate that she actually painted.
With a paintbrush in her mouth.
Insane. So that was her doing it like this.
That's crazy.
So I don't know the timeline that it took her on that one.
The Three Wise Men Under a Van Gogh-like Sky by Johnny.
Isn't that beautiful?
It really
It's
is
just
beautiful.
so, I can only imagine what it would be in real life.
Yeah. That's
Because she
really-
did the Van Gogh inspired.
Yeah.
So
Very beautiful. She's
can you
amazing.
see why I was like,
Drawn.
I wasn't even looking for her, to be honest,
Yeah.
people. I was looking for this young girl that she more like Henry. She has to lay. She can't do anything. She has to lay. She was a younger girl. And she paints, and she does these magnificent paintings. She was younger, and I was trying to find her.
Right.
And I'd had her information on my old phone. I couldn't find her.
So you found Johnny.
And then so I found Johnny, and I was like, oh my goodness. But then with Johnny, then there was Henry.
And we're doing a twofer today.
Doing a twofer. So Henry, he is nope, we're still doing good. I gotta watch my time now. He's a young lad. He was like 2021 when this happened. And
Wow.
yeah, I've got pictures.
They're
here.
both
Hang on.
remarkable. I
I
mean,
thought I had the picture of him. These
so
are all
remarkable. This.
well, I'll show you this one. This is him. And so what happened to this guy, this just, oh my God, broke my heart.
Henry
So
Salas.
Henry Salas, he's 31 today. He was like any young 21-year-old, healthy, for the most part, loved cars. He was actually getting his car detailed, or his truck, getting his truck detailed. And he had something, like he must have had like a bite or something that was on his neck. And from what he says, and he remembered it hurt. And then all of a sudden, he got this excruciating pain in his neck. And then he went to the people that he was at this place, detailing his car. And he's like, can you look at my neck? I mean, he goes, the pain is unbearable. Can you help me? And then the next thing you know, he's just like falling to the ground, and then he can't feel anything. And then they rush him to the hospital. So what happened was a bacteria within 45 minutes. This happened within a 45-minute span. He was 90% paralyzed.
My God.
90% paralyzed, and it's because some type of bacteria
Was
got
it a
into that.
spider bite, or
I don't know.
What kind of
Something bit
insect
him.
that transmits bacteria? I mean,
Yeah, somehow, or he didn't. Maybe he got, like your fingers and your fingers and you're itching it, and you didn't wash your hands, and you picked up some bacteria. Maybe if you're working on a car, I don't know where that happens, because it could happen more than we think.
Right. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
He was like, we're gonna give him 3 months, because there's nothing we can do, because it just completely, what it said is so it says, I am living a normal life, destined for success and happiness like any young adult aspires to. And in 2011, in only 45 minutes, a bacteria attacked my spinal cord, because it was by his neck, got it into his spinal cord area via autoimmune disease, causing me to collapse and paralyze me from the inside out. God. It is formally called transverse mellitus. Okay.
Let me see. Oh yeah,
mellitus. With which I was diagnosed. I was left in a total state of paralysis and event dependent until his present day. So he is an event, but he can come off the vent, and he can do his artwork.
Amazing.
So again, these people, I was trying to find details, like family details, and all I can find out is that he did have a brother that unfortunately committed suicide. He does have a supporting sister. He calls his mom his angel, and he said if it was not for his mom, he would have totally died. So this is his mom.
Oh.
So that's his mom. It says, meet the woman behind the scenes, my mom. So she has been totally his rock. They don't really talk about the dad, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. So, so Henry lives every day a neurological battle with pain and discomfort. Despite this, he designs, draws, produces from a nursing home in California because, he's got to be hooked up with all that stuff.
Right.
So he was saying there was not much hope for me. I was only given 3 months of life to live. And, doctors are doctors. And here I am. I'm an artist. So he's like, I was only given 3 months and now I'm here 10 years later is basically what he was saying in this statement.
Yeah.
I guess you could say it was a success because he's here.
Right.
So he said dozens of years later that he's still proving the doctors wrong. Mm-hmm. So he said he fell in love with art about 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. Being bedridden with a total paralysis, pain, discomfort, with very little ability to communicate, is very heavy, both mentally and physically.
Yeah.
Not only having the inability to escape from my own reality, I only had two choices. This was what I was saying, to pass my time. Mm-hmm. I could either watch the reruns of the shows, or I could stare at the ceiling for hours, thinking of my misery and just my misfortune. So he decided neither one of those were an option, or he could just will himself to die. Mm-hmm. So he goes, so I took action. He goes, I started drawing and painting digitally with my Note 4 phone, operating it with the stylus with my mouth, and learning how to balance and control this tool using only my mouth for many months, up to a year. So that would be where he learned to do these ones. I've got several different drawings of him.
That's just...
It's just...
insane.
So this one took 3 months, he said.
Oh my God.
So that's the Virgin Mary.
He digitally
did this one, which is amazing. If anybody knows about digital art,
I do.
The layer upon layer, the blending, that's not something that's easily to be done.
No.
So he goes, got more serious and interested in learning the fundamentals of drawing. Mm-hmm. So I began taking online courses and tutorials in the drawing basics to advanced form from professionals. Mm-hmm. And then he goes, there are online educational platforms like, I don't know how to pronounce it, Edime or Skillshare.com. Mm-hmm. So, so he just practiced. Yeah. So what he did say in here is, he was saying that first doing this, and then he's like, I'm not an artist. I'm not an artist until I can learn to do either by pencil or by pen. Mm-hmm. So that's when he started doing that. So he goes, therefore, I just kept drawing and creating, mainly to distract myself from my pain. Sure. At the end of the day, the work I enjoy the most is when I'm in deep focus and time flies. So he goes like into another realm. So this is his way to escape.
That's beautiful. Really
very, very cool. It goes, when my followers and supporters on social media feel connected to my art and my life messages, there's nothing better than receiving positive feedback on the impact I make on people's lives, whether enabled or disabled, instilling inspiration and motivation. So that's where it says I wasn't. He goes, what's amazing is Salas wasn't satisfied with just drawing digital art. He wanted to feel like the real artist, and that's why he wanted to do the pen and paper, like I said. He goes, I called the nurse. I told her, can you give me a stack of printing paper and a ballpoint pen, he explained. And sure enough, that's where he just began doing it. And he had to learn to it. He goes, see, I can't erase. You can't go back. You just keep going on it. So if there's anything in there that you've like, oops, you're going to have to incorporate that.
That's right.
So he says, I'm very blessed and grateful for the strength I've been given through God. So again, it ties into that faith.
Yeah.
To be doing what I love, the ambition despite my paralysis, and to make every day count. So this is why I get with you, people, because when we look at our lives and we look at our little, some are bigger problems, some are smaller problems, but that's all relative. When you look at these people that, they're not getting upset with the person that just cut them off, or because they don't have that luxury of being out and about and moving around. So it's very inspirational. He goes, this hardworking, strategic life with consistency has led me to where I am now. Mm-hmm. With my beautiful mother and friends' support as a backbone, Sorry, is the head docking. I'm in a lot of pain. I will take what I believe in this shop and execute any other projects and visions at the next level. So, and he does do that. So he actually ended up partnering. It's very kind of cool. Not kind of cool. It is cool. He, so Justin and Ryan are the creators of Chaos and Kindness. They have a YouTube channel. And you can imagine, he's in this bed. I was telling you, but I don't think I mentioned it here. He's been in this nursing home for 10 years.
Yeah.
He's had a dozen people come and go throughout his room that have passed on. So he said it does get tough because he's like, when is it my time?
Right.
So he doesn't get, they need to get some coffee. He doesn't get visitors, right? So Ryan and Justin were so inspired by this. He's actually got a nickname on Facebook called the Mouth Ninja.
I like that.
And he's really getting out there in social media. He has his own social media, Facebook.
Very nice.
And he does things on the other sites as well. He actually created logos to sell. This is one of them. And it's the butterfly, which is the sign of freedom and beauty. So that's him actually designing this logo right there. And that can take months to do.
Right.
He goes, it's about time, because I took little snapshots off his posts. I get to design and launch my own apparel and more.
Yeah.
Here's a man.
Yeah.
And what is he doing? He's inspiring.
Yeah.
So I thought this one was really cute. I'm like, oh, we got to get
Let's
this.
see.
Look at it. It goes, kind words cost nothing. And that reminded me of you.
Yeah.
So here's there's again stuff that he designs.
Nice.
And he's got it out there. And his dream. Go ahead. No, what were you saying?
His dream, what?
His dream would be to be able to raise enough money to support him, to be able to move all of that to be home. He hasn't been home for 10 years. He would love to, I'm sure have Christmas there, have the family there, and just be there. But you can imagine how expensive it is, and the machinery that he has to have to keep him alive.
Right, that's too expensive.
Look at that one.
Don't let the world say no to you.
Don't let don't let the world say no to you.
That's
so
really nice. Okay.
Where anybody could say, just pull him off life support.
Oh, is that his drawing?
Yeah, look at that.
Really
That's him doing that one right there. So
very beautiful.
Look at how detailed this guy is.
Yeah, he's very good. Now, does he? What's this nominated?
It says nominated for 2 Emmys.
Emmys.
Emmys. I'm sorry.
No, enemy.
Not enemies. Nominated for 2 Emmys.
No.
Says I just called Henry Salas, the Mouth Ninja, to let him know that the episode we did on him, Chaos and Kindness, and I watched it. It was really good.
Okay.
Was just nominated for 2 Emmys. His story is unreal, and he deserves all the attention and love coming his way. So look at him. It's so cute to see him get so excited, because I was watching that video. And when Ryan and Justin went down there to surprise him, oh my God, his face all lights up and he gets so excited because he doesn't get to have people.
Yeah.
So here's that
there
of him, and that's, I think that's Ryan.
Yeah.
And then here's another, look at the owl. This man is just amazing.
Wow.
And then he's got a sense of humor.
That's
this made me
good.
remember, because he's like, you have to.
Yeah,
I could see someone falling for him, because he, not only because of his spirit, his spirit and his drive, he's got a sense of humor. He goes, hey, can you pull that up a little bit? My shoulder, can you pull the blanket up a little bit? He goes, I don't want to tease all the women out there. And he's a good-looking guy. And so I just thought it was really cute, because he turns to humor. Here's him drawing one of his owls. Yeah. And then this was just another one that just, so this is, I have on Wikipedia.
That's amazing,
so,
CherylAnn.
Isn't that amazing? So it just lets you know that when you're down and out, downtrodden, you're just like,
don't give up.
Don't give up,
Don't
people.
give up. And
you don't know what your story is yet.
No.
You don't know what gift you have. And
That's
something
tragic.
that is tragic could lead to something totally amazing.
Yeah.
And I know it's easy to say.
No, I'm glad you shared those stories today.
So,
those were heavy, but good. Heavy.
Oh, it's
but
mama.
Good.
La mama.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing.
Any
that.
questions? So
No.
and
I
again,
think we're going to skip the quotes and use them for the mini-sode.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
A long time.
Yeah, I sorry, but they were.
No,
I felt like I couldn't.
It.
They both. They weren't born. They weren't born that way, and they spoke to me. They weren't born that way.
Yeah.
It just happened, and it's life isn't guaranteed. We just need to learn to go with the flow,
and be kind,
and be kind and grateful.
So if you want to reach us, you can reach us at coffeeandapodcast3@gmail.com. And thanks for listening to today's show.
Yeah, and as always, be kind and good to yourself. And we will see you on the mini-sode. So thank you so much. And we didn't say that was episode 26, did we?
No, we didn't.
We're cruising. And we could love to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you.